Marvel's first family is here, and they finally got the treatment they truly deserved.
It's clobbering time!
And guess what? It didn't just work, it totally rocked. I had a great time, and this movie is hands down the best Fantastic Four movie we've ever seen on the big screen. Being honest, this isn't top 10 MCU by a long stretch, but it had a lot of redeeming qualities that makes it one of the top 3 MCU contenders post 2021. So let's dive into Fantastic Four first steps and break down what I liked, what I didn't like, and certain things that you may have missed. Stop. This is your spoilers warning. If you haven't watched Fantastic Four First Steps yet,
Get out!
Save this video for later. Watch my spoiler-free out-of-theater reactions, and you can. Nah, you should. Nah, you must visit this video after you've watched the movie. And if you have watched the movie, please drop your views in the comments below. I'm curious to see what you thought about it. And with that out of the way, let's dive straight into our Fantastic Four First Steps review. This film is 80% character work, as it should be, and that's precisely why it works. Because what truly makes Fantastic Four so special in pop culture, even before all the sciencey stuff, is actually the family dynamics. Let's start with the running joke of the year. Pedro Pascal is everywhere. Every big franchise, every noteworthy IP, my hermano's there. Narcos, check. Game of Thrones, check. The Mandalorian, check. The Last of Us, check. Wonder Woman 84, check. And I'm seriously curious at this stage, what's next? Is it Kratos? Assassin's Creed? Frickin' Bruce Wayne? But seriously, I'm not complaining. When you're really that talented and you have these mega opportunities coming your way, who in their right mind would actually turn them down? And as expected, he's done absolute justice to his role of Reed Richards. He totally sells the nerdy scientist with stunted emotional capabilities, a little too pragmatic and objective for his own good, but also burdened by his knowledge. And he's got a very different approach to his intelligence compared to Tony Stark's attitude. While Tony had this swagger, cockiness, and arrogance because of his smarts, you see Reed being overly critical of himself. He's very confident about being the smartest man on the planet, but he puts a lot of pressure on himself to be able to solve every possible problem in the world. Especially considering he's the leader of the group, it only adds to his existing burden. And truly, Reed Richards is hands down the brain of this film. And Pedro's a legend. Always has been, always will be. Vanessa Kirby was a big surprise for me in this movie. Look, I already love her. She's mastered the craft of portraying that mystique boss lady, but this was a very different side. Vanessa Kirby's Sue Storm is this fierce yet gentle maternal figure in this movie. And truly, she's the nucleus of this team. As a wife, she holds firm to Reed. As a mother, she's a ruthless protector of Franklin. As a sister, she's a deeply caring and understanding big sis. But hands down, she is the soul of the Fantastic Four, especially with Johnny, always lending him an ear and making him feel heard and acknowledged, while also reeling him in when needed. And that dynamic between Sue Storm and Johnny Storm was very reminiscent of the kind of interactions that I see between my wife and my brother-in-law.
Codename Ustad.
And now we gotta talk about my boy Johnny Storm, the Human Torch. He's definitely one of those characters who's had the biggest upgrades, maybe not with his costume or his power design, but most definitely as a character. He's the youngest member of the team, often brash and ready to jump headfirst, which checks out with his age and temperament. But honestly, he's not as big of a jerk as Chris Evans' Johnny Storm. He's more hearty, more grounded, more caring, who's got a fair share of banter with everyone on the team, but nothing harmful. Under all the panache and the maverick is an astute guy who silently observes far more than he lets on. The movie showed him focusing on things that no one else was really paying attention to, whether it was the team suit upgrades, Silver Surfer and her language, language, noticing phonetic similarities, and single-handedly translating an entire alien language only so he could negotiate and understand the Silver Surfer better. He's sharp as an arrow. And when it comes to Johnny's dynamics with the Thing,
It's clobbering time!
they are far more cordial than we've ever seen before. They have some banter, sure. Johnny urging him to say his iconic line is a running joke throughout the movie.
What time is it, Ben? No. What time is it, Ben? No, Johnny. Say it! I don't wanna! Say it!
Hey, what time is it?
It's dinner time.
Hey.
That's not really something I say. That's just in the cartoon.
But whenever the two of them are around Franklin, you just see these two uncles who get along so well and would do anything for their nephew. And that was such a special dynamic. Ben Grimm, the Thing, was the cornerstone for this team.
It's clobbering time!
As a character, he felt fresh and relatable and not as angry as the past iterations of this character. He's a guy who does feel lonely at times, cares deeply for his team and also his community. A big shout out to MCU for finally showing us Yancey Street. That's such an integral part of Ben Grimm's story in the Fantastic Four comics. For me, Ben Grimm gave total elder uncle energy, especially as someone who's caring and comes with a lot of wisdom. You can especially see it in that moment where Sue asks Reed if he's read any of the parenting books, and Ben suddenly goes like, yeah, I did, and it was just so cute. And that moment really took me to Backrack's character of Cousin Richie in The Bear, where he's a great dad and knows almost everything there is to know about good parenting, but also knows when to reel it back. I also really loved the scenes where we saw Ben interacting with his best friend Reed, and their friendship really lighted up those frames for me. If Steve Rogers can't be my best friend, I'm definitely bidding for Ben Grimm. And next is Silver Surfer, also known as H.E.R.B.I.E. Visually stunning, cool powers, impeccable dialogue delivery.
Your planet is now marked for death.
And really sick action scenes, especially that chase through the black hole, which I'm gonna talk about later in this video. To be honest, as a character, she didn't really offer much for me. She had a tragic backstory, but the mystery around why she's working for Galactus, what was her tragic compulsion, why is she doing what she's doing, it all just seemed very lightweight for me. I really couldn't care less about this character. I admit, she did contribute to moving the story forward, but as a standalone character, she didn't offer me much emotionally. Having said that, Silver Surfer never really excited me in comics, in cartoons, or even the movies. So I'm really not sweating over it. And then the big bad. Galactus, baby. This is the first time we've seen Galactus in his true form on the big screen. And yes, I'm intentionally avoiding the cloudy mess that they called Galactus in Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. Now look, Galactus is a very different kind of a character. The dude's not exactly a villain playing for his own sinister plans. He's like an earthquake, a tornado, a tsunami. He is a force of nature. He does what he has to. Destruction is really just his state of being. He doesn't discriminate. He doesn't pick and choose, but devours whatever it deems fit. So you can't exactly hate him, but as a devourer of worlds, him asking for Franklin Richards, who can create worlds at will, is an indication that he may be wanting this option so he doesn't have to destroy any more planets. So really, he's a very complex character to be putting into a good guy bucket or a bad guy bucket. But he's definitely magnificent and he's frightening. And the voice work on Galactus was just glorious. That thunderous voice, that dark baritone was really booming through the audience sitting in the theater. And I really couldn't have made a video about this movie without talking about H.E.R.B.I.E. It's a great addition to the film, though not essential to the screen or the plot. It definitely added to the fun in a very R2-D2 kind of a way. Actually, more BB-8 kind of a way, because BB-8's a good boy and R2-D2 is just basically a moody teenager in the body of a robot.
Don't you call
call me a mindless philosopher, you overweight glob of grease? Now come on.
Big shout out to Paul Walter Hauser for playing the biggest surprise in the movie as Moleman. Moleman is hands down one of the wackiest Marvel characters for me, and Hauser's comic timing is just unbeatable. His version of Moleman is just so hilarious and so unhinged, cracking jokes and being mean to the Fantastic Four while all of New York is really evacuating to Subterranea. I'd love to see more of this Moleman in future MCU projects, and it would be really fun to see him take a beating from someone like a Spider-Man. Just to think about it, a quip battle between Peter Parker and Moleman is just going to be so epic, man. So who was your MVP from Fantastic Four First Steps? Let me know in the comments. Let's be real, the story here, it's not going in anyone's Hall of Fame. If I had to sum up this entire story in just one phrase, I would call it the trolley problem. And I can really explain the story of this movie in 5 lines. You're introduced to the characters and their world. A cosmic visitor shows up, big planet-eating dude coming. So they hop on a spaceship, try to negotiate, fail, face the ultimate moral dilemma: save your kid or save the world. Eventually, instead of saving Earth by transporting it to a different part of the universe, they just send Galactus to some other part of the galaxy. The story is fine, it moves, but it seriously lacks depth. No layers like the Winter Soldier, no escalating dread like the Infinity War. It's just a straight shot. And yeah, I wanted more. The cast had the chemistry for an emotional roller coaster. The question's for you. Did the simple story work for you? Or were you expecting something deeper like I did? I'd love to know your thoughts. Tone-wise, the film strikes a rare balance. It's fun, it's silly, but it's still loaded with heart. This isn't just a superhero movie. It's a movie about people learning to function together as a unit. Each one brings something different and they complement each other beautifully. It's a theme that pays off again and again, especially in how they face challenges. Tell you what, even if every single character in this movie wasn't a superhero, and they were just 4 regular people in a family just talking to each other for 2 hours straight, I would still pay money to watch this movie. And that's saying something. The jokes land, the quips feel earned, but most importantly, you start to care for these people. And that's been missing in a lot of post-Endgame MCU. Let me know your favorite character dynamics in the comments below. Visually, this is MCU creativity running on all cylinders. Forget highly unsaturated colors and uninspired beams dropping from the sky. Instead, we've got these rich pastel blues in the costumes. You've got a rich color grading of this movie, Jetsons inspired pointy designs, and a nostalgic 60s retro-futuristic aesthetic that feels so fresh. Really, I love that this movie took us into a version of the future that our ancestors in the 40s and the 50s would have imagined. This world felt really lived in, and I could totally see myself talking to my genie and asking him to take me to this world for my next vacation. And the visual masterpiece of this movie was that space chase scene. Silver Surfer chasing the Fantastic Four through the black hole, the disorienting light, the beams bending under the extreme gravity inside a black hole, the Silver Surfers actually surfing on the edge. Absolute gold. To just sit in the theater and watch those visuals on the big screen is truly an unparalleled experience. I'm definitely not overstating when I say this, but the quality of visuals in that entire sequence was something you'd usually expect from a Ridley Scott or a Christopher Nolan film. I don't usually rewatch movies for just one cool sequence, but I guess Fantastic Four is building a strong case for an exception here. What was your favorite visual moment in this movie? Drop it in the comments. If it's not the black hole scene, that's totally fine. I'm still listening, but I'm also judging you. We have to talk about the costume design and the power designs because I'm just a sucker for those things. You could actually see that a lot of the designs were actually inspired from Jack Kirby's original designs for Fantastic Four comics, especially the blue pastel turtlenecks for the team and the thing's big chunky eyebrows. I really loved the creative direction that they took to show Sue Storm's powers in this movie. Her invisibility powers and her force field powers got a major visual upgrade, opting for a prismatic visual representation. Gorgeous, elegant, and visually distinct. Gone are the days of showing us coffee cups and bras hanging midair to show invisible women, and showing us gusts of wind to show a force field. Truly inspired creative work. But Ben Grimm gets the real glow up. Gone are the weird latex bodysuits and the nudist CGI rocks. Here, he's got that pure 60s Kirby design with a solid body, solid clothes. Thank God, finally some pants on the dude. And like I mentioned, big, bulky eyebrows. And I'm gonna give him extra points for that beard. Firstly, to accurately show a man made of rocks and how he uses a stone polisher to shave that rocky beard was just so dope. Never in my wildest of dreams would I have ever thought of something like that. And finally, when he managed to grow that beard, he looked so cool and so adorable, kind of like a New Mexico Santa. And Galactus is a whole other level. Massive, regal, and comic accurate to the last detail, with his purple helmet and the big horns and his scale to size ratio compared to the rest of the world. And especially the haunting sound when his eyes activate. That was pure cosmic horror, man. Now, how did you feel about the designs? Best iteration yet, or do you feel there's still room to grow? Hit me with your design hot takes below. Now, time to talk about my favorite part of the movie. I've already talked about the space chase, which is hands down my favorite. So I'm gonna keep that aside and I'm gonna talk about something else. Now, my theater was pretty silent for most of this movie. No loud cheers, gasps, the oohs and the ahs like we had in Spider-Man No Way Home, in Avengers Infinity War, or Avengers Endgame. And I do quite look forward to moments like those in the theater. This one sadly didn't get any. And just when I thought that the theater was gonna stay silent throughout the movie, boom, mid-credit scene, baby. We get our first teaser look at Doctor Doom in his green gown and his green hood, about to abduct Franklin Richards, and most definitely the starting point for Avengers Doomsday releasing next year. And honest to God, the whole auditorium just went berserk. We didn't really see the mask or the face, but everyone knew Downey Jr. is back. Honestly, I was a bit surprised by that audience reaction, because by this stage, that was the most predictable thing in this movie. Really, I was expecting Doctor Doom to be in the mid-credits or the post-credit scene. I mean, he is their main villain, but I was genuinely surprised that the audience had such a loud reaction to something so predictable. But hey, I'm not complaining. I live for these community moments. I live for these fan moments. And just getting to experience moments like these is really what's kept me going. What did you think? Did that Doom tease work for you? Or did you really call it from a mile away like I did? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and I'd love to know what your theater sounded like. Fantastic Four First Steps may not be in my top 10 Marvel films, but it's the most confident Marvel movie we've had in years. Unlike most post-Endgame projects that just felt unsure, experimental, creatively confused, like MCU was constantly just testing the waters. This film knows exactly what it's aiming for, and it goes for it with conviction. It's character first, visually lush, and most importantly, a standalone story. No multiversal math, no homework, no 10 movie and 5 TV series backlog. You can walk in fresh and you can walk out happy, regardless of how this fares at the box office. This feels like the MCU coming back to form. And with Spider-Man Brand New Day, Avengers Doomsday, and Avengers Secret Wars on the horizon, we might be looking at a proper Marvel renaissance. Now, before I wrap up, just a quick note for you guys. I'll be off next week for some behind the scenes cleanup on TMB, so you'll only be getting some shots in that duration. But I'll be back soon with a deep dive on the Superman and Fantastic Four post-credit scenes, and heaps of other fun, informative stuff from around the world of pop culture. Now, if you like this video, please hit that thumbs up button, share this video with your friends, drop your thoughts in the comments below, and subscribe subscribe to the Millennial Bard to stay updated with the latest and the best in pop culture and cinema. And you can also follow me on Instagram for your daily nerdy chaos. Until next time, this is the Millennial Bard signing off.
It's clobbering time!
Now come on before somebody sees you.